Good evening, good people, and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Think Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find their way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. Tonight is going to be a program everybody can get into. We're going to talk about speaking in tongues. But before we get into that, you all know her from the Accomack of the Eastern Shore of Virginia, the mother of the clan, the Accomacs from the Eastern Shore. She wants to share something. And that's going to take us right into our discussion tonight. Lisa?
Hey. Hi, how are you doing? Kayuk.
Kayuk.
So basically, um, hey, Copper Colored. Hey, Indians Exposed Investigations. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. Um, so basically, a lot a lot is going on with the, you know, our reclamation of our land, our fight for justice, my fight for justice, and really just the nation, and in fighting or in battling these demonic different judicial systems. I've learned about how pervasive corruption in these courts are, and it's not just us. Like, people that aren't our race, people that are of high standing, people of high legal posture are being just trashed by the judicial system. And there's no checks and balances. This entire corporation is just, it's just garbage. It's trash. Corporate owns and runs everything. All the drugs are being run by big pharma. The courts are being corrupted by big real estate. It's just a big, horrible mess. A lot of people are battling for their children. They're battling for their rights. Um, the courts are being used to traffic. It is so many different things are happening that are just horrendous, that people are suffering in silence. Because when you're going through this kind of stuff and these people are talking to you in another language, and they've got all these deceptions and they have all these mechanisms to evade you, and they're using this speaking in tongues like sorcery against you, it is hard to battle, because you can't even trust your own your own attorney. Because if your attorney actually defends you against the powers that be, they get disbarred. The best attorneys are disbarred. I don't know. I've been my eyes have been opened about this recently, and the best attorneys have been disbarred. They don't disbar the corrupt attorneys, y'all. So the problem is that we can't. They kind of go radio silent. We go radio silent with licking our wounds. We don't talk about it. And what needs to happen is we need to come together. We need to speak up, and we need to boss up. We need to form a coalition against these demonic judges, these demonic courts. We need to help people. We need to help each other. It's it's time. It's the only thing we can do. And the fact that silence doesn't work. Silence doesn't work. Fighting your own fight. All this whole divide. We're divided, and they have conquered us. It's time to come together. So I'll be posting this on Facebook. We got to start getting stuff together. I'm gonna be, trying to do my best to attract these disenfranchised former attorneys, and also inactive attorneys, also all the expert self litigating people that know about the law, because we need to come together. We need to form a place where people can voice what their concerns are and get some insight, get some help. And this needs to grow. This needs to be big, because it's a major problem. They, this whole system where they talk in all kinds of parables, and they mislead you, and they give you smoke and mirrors, and they talk in all kinds of daggone double talk. We need to be the defense about it. We can't no longer just talk about, oh, what about the Mayans? What the world? Who gives a damn about a Mayan or a friggin' Inca? Okay? We're getting torn down here. We got to stand up and do something. We got to bring our information together, and we got to use it to make changes for ourselves, because ain't nobody going to make it better for us. And if we don't know how to come together, it don't matter if they, what are you going to do? How are you going to change anything if we don't come together? If we don't actually stand up against these powers that be in some shape or form. That's all I got to say.
When you talk about America, you have the eagle flying and brave. And, there were even some monikers of you called Braves back in the day. A lot of their football teams and basketball teams are named after some of the peoples who were of America. They just thought of those people as the utmost. They came over with the double talk Lisa was talking about, changed everything over to where they're the Americans and you're black. It's hard for us to come together because we believe what they told us who we were. Now, of course, this is not everybody, because there are some people out there going at it alone, and you don't hear about it because it won't be in the news. It won't be on TV. They keep it quiet so you won't get the idea. These people are not Americans, or, as you know it, Americans. They are from where they come from. And since you've been on this planet, since your mama and daddy has been on this planet, since your grandmama and granddaddy has been on this planet, those people have been kicking you in the ass. Now you can pretend like you didn't escape. You got a scholarship. You get to wear their cufflinks, whatever. You became one of them. Another thing we don't want to talk about. We mark up our bodies and bow and pray and escape and go through all kind of shenanigans to be one of them. They're not helping either. So if there's unity and strength in numbers, and they fuck over everybody the same way, so there's some commonality there.
Facts. Facts.
So this is opening up to what she was talking about earlier, speaking in tongues. Why it's so hard for us to come together? Because what she has up on the board now, these demons speak in some other language. They have this language in the medical field, the legal field, and any other field that they're in, that
In the
they deal in.
Yeah.
You said what? The other one?
Churches. In the churches.
Churches.
Yeah.
Right. And we, I don't really get it. We try to be like them and try to speak in their languages and don't even speak in your own. Can I get witness?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't help the children. That puts them 50 feet under where you're standing. So we're going to get into the speaking in tongues tonight. And please, I'll post the link to the chat so you can come up and share your stories with us. We can't pass what's going on down to these kids because we gonna look like little hoes. Serious. See, when it's time to dog each other out, oh man, the confidence and the chest beating and I'll kick your we excellent at that,
Yeah.
bar none.
Yep.
When it comes to other people, we lick their hand like a dog. So if you one of those people, stay out of it because we don't want to hear what you got to say. But check out this speaking in tongues. It's on you, Lise.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand that there's a relationship. There's a historical and a present day relationship. Why do they wear robes? And why do they even wear wigs and robes in England? Why do the priests wear robes? Why do the KKKers wear robes? Why is there this thread of robes and Latin, other languages, speaking in other languages, speaking in some kind of double speak, confusion, right? Because they are the masters of confusion, and confusion is not the light. Confusion is not good. Confusion is not clear. And the main thing about it is confusion is never fair. It's never fair, right? If they're trying to be confusing, then they're definitely not trying to be fair. Because everything that's fair is easy peasy. Child could figure it out. You're being simple. You know how they say, make it plain. They're not trying to make it plain. So if they're not trying to make it plain, they definitely ain't fair. What you got to say?
What some of the examples, and I'll be giving this out, in the program tonight, and you will see that it's all over the place. Some of the examples of speaking in tongues, and y'all all know this. Read the fine print. They tell you yummy, and it has a little star by the Y. The star leads to something else, a whole bunch of words that you can barely see, read them. You need a magnifying glass to see it. And it says all this stuff that don't have to do nothing with yummy. That's speaking in tongues.
Mm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's speaking in tongues. And when we get on, I'm talking about the people who are not them, but shit, some of us may be them because we spend our lives to be them. A lot of us, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Don't even want to be yourselves anymore, would rather be them. Though us who are not them, you have a way of doing things that works out for everybody. You want to, everybody breathes. Life is given to everybody, but you want to take away somebody's ability to breathe because you don't like the color socks they got on.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the so-called African American blacks reside. While these other people are setting up to gobble down your children. This is, we got to look at it. While they're doing all this running around demonic shit, what are we doing? I'm not talking about one, because believe me, they don't work one on. They don't just one person does it. They have millions of them locked arm and on code. We believe we can do whatever we want to do. I do it my way. That's how we roll. Is that how you see it, at least?
Exactly how it is, man. We do that, but you know, I think that our main problem is that we got all this daggone guidance, Oh, the 10 Commandments, lead me not into temptation. But we're always being led into temptation. We are always running into temptation. I mean, do we ever resist it? Because I just was thinking today, I was like, I was watching a video beforehand, somebody talking about somebody being a scammer, and I was like, okay, this is the thing. Everybody is allowing themselves to be compromised by temptation, This alluring, it's attractive, right? So what I'm seeing is a lot of people are just like, even if it's a matter of being a YouTuber, a TikToker, or whatever, the allure of whatever little rewards are coming towards them becomes the biggest thing. And then when you get the awards, then you sacrifice being honest, or you sacrifice making any changes, and you sacrifice actually daggone trying to motivate people to do things or talk about things that will actually make our conditions better. Why? Because you might lose that compensation. And all this time I didn't get it. Like when I would go on other platforms, not not yours, but they would be like, no, we're not going to talk about that. No. And they don't want to talk to me, right? They don't want to talk to me. They're indigenous platform. They don't want to speak about this kind of thing. Why? Because the compensation that they're getting from the colonizers, from the oligarchs, is more attractive than keeping it real or actually helping people to get out of this condition, actually change the way we do things in our territory, in our nation. It's not important. It's the immediate gratification. That's everything. They're willing to sacrifice it for grant money. Oh, I'm good being an urban Indian. So people are doing all these side steps, making little nations that don't have any historical presence. I'm a She-Amaru. I'm a copper-colored, ink spot. I'm a Moo Nation, a Woo Woo that, or making up things that aren't really. You can't actually go anywhere and find that anywhere. Not on a nameplate. Not in your genealogy. You can't connect to it, right? And if you can't connect to it, and you can't trace it, and you can't identify it with real historical, presence, and you can't connect yourself to it actually by bloodline or lineage, then you're lost all your power. You forfeited your actual power. So they're gonna let you get a grant, and they're gonna let you do your little fake stuff, because you're not gonna ever be able to do anything significant, because you can't stand on your crown and say, you know what? We are these people, and this does belong to us, and we will get it back, because you don't have anything to claim. You can't really stand on it, because everybody in your association is from all over the place, and they can't really connect to anything, one thing. So it's like you just scattered everybody. You actually divided and conquered by forming your little daggone association. And this is happening over and over again. That's what people are coming up with. And that's what they're promoting on TikTok and all over the place. They're coming into knowledge, but then they're destroying it at the same time. Confusion on purpose. Because a lot of the people who get the biggest voice on these platforms are agents, are compromised, and they concur and they get other people to actually sacrifice themselves and sacrifice their freedom. And it's not just you, it's the people that you don't know who are also of your lineage that you're ruining it from them, because there's nowhere for them to run. There is no nation for them to claim. So it's easy to get seduced by these dead end spaces and places. The power, my defense is that my lineage is real. My defense is I'm trustee. You can't be trustee of nothing. My defense, my main defense, not even a defense, because I'm not defending, right? My power is my bloodline. My power is that it's connected to the history. My power is that my lineage is traceable. My power is that there's real patents that we are bloodline connected to, and the land that we are connected to, and it's undeniable. That's the power. If I had taken a shortcut and called myself the Powhatan whatever, then that would have been, because Powhatan's not real. That's not real. They made that up so that we would be misled. The Accomack are real. The Powhatan are what they called the Accomack to mislead everybody.
Speaking in tongues.
Speaking in tongues. But if everybody's sitting up there talking about ancient Egyptians and, Atlanteans and all kinds of stuff that you can't possibly leak yourself to, and you're distracted by getting to be experts of this information that you can miss me with, because it's not going to really do anything for you or your people after you. We got serious situation in the past 70 years. We've lost a tremendous amount that most people that are here today in their 20s don't even know what we've lost, because they don't even know that information. Because, my generation was New Jack swinging into the damn future. Electric sliding into the damn future. Doing a bump into the future. We didn't realize what was happening and what we were doing and what was done to us and what we were participating in, and we paid no attention to what was being lost. We didn't, everybody back home, we used to have all this land. Well, it was only lost in the 70s. It was only lost in the 80s. It was only lost in the 90s. These losses came within my lifetime. But y'all don't even know that these losses just happened in the past 60 years. Because it's that far, it seems that far gone, and ain't nobody telling you about it. Oh yeah, we lost it. Well, when it wasn't lost. When then you break it down, you start thinking it was only lost in the 80s. It was only lost in the early 2000s. You see what I'm saying? But see, we are misleading ourselves. We are misleading ourselves. And we're listening. See, they don't have no Martin Luther Kings. They got a whole lot of little baby Martins, like cockroaches. They're all over the social media, misleading you all over the place. They don't need to create a Marcus Garvey. They got all kinds of little Marcuses all over the place. Baby Marcuses, baby Martins. They're all, we're being distracted in micro. We're being divided by these little micro leaders. What you guys say about that?
Another speaking in tongues really throws off your timing. Because this is a question I always ask, and nobody can never seem to come up, can't even figure it out. This is speaking in tongues. What year is it? What year was it before the colonizers came? Not what year they said it was. What did you say it was? Or what it and when I say you, I mean the indigenous people. All you are a link to the indigenous people. That shit transcends time. That's how we're confused and stuff too on time. This is a concept that they came up with. But since you're caught off from it, I mean, very arrogantly too, making it seem like it's something that fits your life. No, it puts you in a capsule so you can continue to be pimped. That's what it's for. So if somebody asks you, what year was it before the colonizers came over? Year? Are you serious? You're still connected to those people that Lisa was talking about earlier. You're connected to your great, 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 great grandmother. Her blood runs through your veins. You don't get that? Somebody comes and tell you in the year 17, what does that do to you?
Mhm.
What does that do to your connection to the planet? Speaking in tongues. Here's another point. And a lot of you guys aren't gonna like this, but is you don't have to. One of the things, well, at least was talking about in the last 60 years that came up, and she just mentioned it, is this whole Egyptian. We the Egyptians. You know how we talk. We again. What's this we shit? That Egyptian thing. What really got Negroes into that Egyptian thing was that "Remember the Time" by Michael Jackson. I mentioned that to some people, they wet themselves, dancing and clapping. Well, we're really into that. Make you think or make you believe. And I got some people today that'll tell you that's who we are. You come from a place that's a desert. Nothing grows there. Nothing's there. It's nothing but sand. They tell you, they tell you that's who you are. Speaking in tongues. I met a woman one time, never forget this. She told me that she could speak ancient Egyptian. Well, how was that possible? And she started making these weird noises. I knew she was lying, y'all, trying to convince me that she was connected to the ancient Egyptians, speaking in tongues, making you think something that's not real is real. We have a caller that is being added to the stage. Jay, how you doing?
Hi, Carrie. Hi, Lisa. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hey, how you doing?
what's going on,
Uh,
dude?
Caillou.
I was having difficulty coming in. I don't know why. The app was actually blocking me from coming in because I wouldn't have my mic, or it was blocking my mic and my video, my camera. So I don't know why it was doing that. I had to change that. I came in because I wanted to put my 2 cents on one of the comments I made in the chat
Mhm.
regarding the language. Um, yeah, there's a religious text that talks about, let us go down and confuse the languages.
Mhm.
That's actually a divide and conquer maneuver, and that's the reason why people when they go into those venues where you go to, Lisa, they can't get any relief because these characters are using word sorcery and they're outright evil. Because the point of the matter is that what's interesting when you go into those locations, it's interesting that they're passing judgment. They have no facts. They have no firsthand knowledge of any situation in there. And unfortunately, people go to those places calling themselves getting justice or relief when they're just playing a game. They're actually running a religious order in there, and they can rob, kill, and steal and destroy from those venues. There's so much corruption. You walk into there, you could actually sense the evil oozing off the walls in there.
Mhm.
That's how serious it really is. But I just wanted to put my 2 cents in it. There's a movie out that actually I told Kerry this. I was expressing it to him how many people that the movie went over their heads. It was called The Devil's Advocate. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but
Yeah.
that's strictly about the legal community. They practice deviling and they engage in that kind of activity. Hold on a minute. I'm
So we'll add Jay back when he comes back.
Oh,
Well,
there.
we'll keep him up.
I think
Um,
I think he's back. Are you back? Hmm. Okay.
so he just went down.
Mhm.
Another aspect of speaking in tongues, lying. Just I mean lying. When you have all this space in the world to do your mental work, your physical work, you have all this space, you have all this air, and all you can do is lie to get people to do what you want them to do. That's who we're up against, y'all. And if we can't beat that, and we always like to talk about our ancestors, whether they could run 100 miles per hour. Our ancestors built the pyramids upside down, then flipped them on the other side. We talk all this head that we did,
Hmm.
and we can't even be true. I mean, if you be truthful in courts, be truthful in the courts. It will force everybody who comes in after you to say the same thing. Another, you're going to love this one. Another way of speaking in tongues, when you have to put your hand on the Bible.
Mm.
What's that?
What is that?
I'm because the Bible, seriously, because the Bible, and if you think it's a good book, you haven't read it. And if you haven't read it, please say so, because you're going to embarrass the hell out of yourself when you talk to people who do read it.
Mm.
Place your right hand on the Bible like you're doing some noble shit. You're speaking in tongues. You're lying. And then acting like you don't.
Mm.
Hey, Kerry, I don't know what happened. I got cut off. I don't know how much you heard me read off what I was reading.
We didn't hear
No,
none.
no, we didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear anything. Okay. I don't know how that happened. I don't even know how to use this other app.
Sometimes if you got your phone on, it'll cut off your mic on the laptop or whatever or the computer because it like now there's something where it I don't know it does that, but I don't know if that's what's happening with
Well,
you.
go ahead and read it.
Though I have it on this device, so I'm afraid if I try to move over, it'll probably do the same thing. But let me play around with something else. I'll let you know when I'm ready. 'Cause
Okay,
I,
cool.
I don't I don't really don't know how much you heard me say.
Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, just when you're ready, just come on back, man. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's that whole
Is there
speaking in
something we can look up for you?
No, this is actually I copied from text something that I was having a conversation with someone down in Arkansas. But when I
Okay.
find it, I'll let you know. I'll just listen on.
If you have a screenshot, you could text it to me and I could post it that way.
Okay.
so yeah, back to speaking in tongues. The simple form is just lying,
Mhm.
just saying something to confuse you.
Mhm.
That's all the courts. Hey, it's over 5 million laws on the books. You think about that for a minute.
Mhm.
It's 5 million laws on the books.
Mhm.
Seriously?
Mhm.
People come from other lands to make 5 million laws on your land, and you can't get together with each other to make that not happen. Who's the bitch?
Mhm.
Who's bitch? That's all you have to do is speak in one voice,
Mhm.
and you go out of your way to avoid that. It ain't gonna happen. You can't get niggas together. Demons, man. Demons speaking in tongues. It ain't all that subliminal, whatever they be saying in church. It comes in a myriad of ways. And I'm saying when you teach these kids that language early, what do you think they're going to grow up doing? Spreading it to everybody they hear. We're in the middle of summer now, aren't we?
Mhm.
We're in the middle of summer.
Mhm.
How much what is the majority of most of our energy has been to making sure the foreigners' pockets are full.
Mhm.
So if you say something now, or if one of these youth come up with the brilliant idea, hey, let's have our own cruise line. You know what would kill it? Not that it can't be done, not that it won't be done. It'll be done by other people saying, ah, they don't even know how to act on a cruise line. It won't work. And you know what that would do to the majority of us? Make sure it don't happen. Speaking in tongues. And remember, before you speak, you think. Are you thinking in tongues too? Son Julie.
Oh,
Hey, Carrie, I found
Yes.
it.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, now I mentioned The Devil's Advocate, that movie. You heard me say that, right?
Say that again.
The devil's advocate. Speak up.
Okay.
You're a little low.
Yeah.
How about now? You hear me now?
Yes.
Mhm.
I did mention you were able to hear me before getting cut off about that movie, The Devil's Advocate, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. This is from the Black's Law Dictionary. I'm reading it right now. And then I'll read the comment the friend down in Arkansas had expressed to me in response to it. Deviling. That's DEVILLING. A um, a term used in London of a barrister recently admitted to the bar who assists a junior barrister in his professional work without appearing in any way in the matter. That's Black's Law Dictionary. Now, he responds and he says, I have seen in one old dictionary, devil, junior legal counsel working for his master. Does that sound like it makes sense, considering what they do?
Yeah, makes
That's
sense.
that sounds like what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, they generate controversy where there is none. That's their bread and butter. So therefore, what they do is they literally uh, engage themselves in everything. Now, in that movie, The Devil's Advocate, played by was supposed to be the head of this law firm, played by Al Pacino, and then you have Keanu Reeves. He's playing a lawyer. He finds out that Al Pacino is his father. You know, drew out of out of wedlock type of arrangement with his mother. He didn't know about him, and he's depicting like a devil. So they throw you all this paranormal stuff to throw you off a little bit, for the populations to water. But when you're listening to the words, you're seeing they're really expressing what the legal system is about. So Keanu Reeves, if people saw the movie, asked him, why lawyers? And his answer comes out like this: because we're in everything. That was his answer. So I just thought I should, you know, note that in the kind of
Cool.
work that they do. Because when you really get down to it, the things that they do in there, they engage in trickery. How is trickery justice? It's not.
Lise?
Yeah, there's the fact that it's not built for justice, it's built for greed, it's built for corruption, it's built for oppression. It's like, and then they use the misinformation with the movies, but with the exception of that one, that makes it look like, oh, it's so slick, and it's all about justice and research and getting it right, and investigation. We got to find out what happened. We got to find the evidence. That's all misinformation, man. Ain't nobody doing all that work. That's not happening. But all these shows for decades and decades we've been watching, convinced that, yeah, law and order. Yeah, law and order. Law and order. Creating order and law, and it's all about what's right and fighting, trying to get it right. Yeah, we take our job seriously. We're doing this. Are you kidding me? I'm not saying that there aren't just justices or there are not just judges. I just hope to witness it in real life. Thus far, I have not, but I do have high hopes to actually see that happening in real life. I really do. It's out there, but it's extremely rare, and they make it extremely hard for those that do even try to do what is right. They make it hard for them to even do what is right.
Does it even exist?
It can be forced to exist. You could exert justice by putting enough pressures from different areas of the law to kind of like get it to actually get some justice. You can create a big enough paper trail that even if you don't exactly get what you want today, that as soon as these see, the thing about it is, those really entrenched in this demonic work are dying off. Their children aren't convinced. They're not interested. You know what I mean? They're not deeply entrenched in the sorcery. these coming generations of demons, which is why they needed these immigrants, because their own offspring ain't cutting the mustard. They're not motivated to oppress the Indians, and they're not motivated to do the sorcery. So you know, they bring in these people that are their contract, they're captives, they're you know, they're weaponized army against us. You come here, but this is your job. If you don't talk to them, and you keep you know, they're scum, and they're dumb, and they're lazy, and you're better. You're the better ones, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you everything that we got, not everything we got, but the good stuff, and we're gonna give, and they get the crap. But you only get the good stuff if you make sure that they're on the bottom, and you make sure that they keep getting the crap. And you don't give them a fair chance because they don't deserve it. They're always thieving. They have these very dishonest characters, you know. Meanwhile, they're committing all kinds of crimes all the time, unbothered, unbossed, brazenly, with no repercussions. And we think, because we watch television, that law is just, and they look slick, and they got the good suits, and they got the nice cars, and they got the big offices, and man, ain't it grand. And boy, all you need is a good lawyer, and your life's great. What I need is a good lawyer. I'm in trouble. I need to hire a good lawyer. The more you pay, the better they'll be. Look at OJ. What was that about? What was that about? Was that about speaking in tongues? Was that a big psychops, that OJ thing? What did that do to the psyche of the Negro Indian? Really?
Boy, look, Johnny Cochran is, oh my God, we're top of the line in the law. So what about when people say that about, I'm going to get some justice, I'm going to get a black lawyer? What does that really mean?
I don't know that people say that, because I think, generally speaking, we have very low perception of ourselves, and that's a big problem, you know. And as far as what was that OJ thing? What was the purpose of that? Because see, that's what I was saying to my family. I was like, what kind of judge was that? Because you know what I'm saying? Because with the prevailing public opinion being so racially, you know, just racialized to a point of like unbelievable levels with that case, there was an objective there. I don't know if I believe it. Remember the slow Bronco chick? Really, if you think about that, that really made sense. If you really think about it. Did we ever see anything about that case? Was there anything about her body, or did we ever see that? Like her being, did we see that?
Oh, no, they didn't show it to the public because that wasn't shown to the
They
public.
didn't show any body bags or anything.
No, you know how they cover that up because it's too gruesome for you to see.
No, I'm starting to question the reality of that, because to me, maybe it was a whole ploy to create a sense of justice within the justice system in the Negro.
Hey, Lisa.
Maybe that's what it was for. It was to make us think, well, if we get a right lawyer, we're fine. We're safe. We'll be okay. Look what happened with OJ, because I'm telling you, from what I'm seeing going on, I cannot believe that judge just was like, I'm an honest judge, and well, the evidence is the evidence, and he said it must have fit, don't acquit, it can't fit, don't, you know. What? Really? Because as crooked as I see the judiciary being and as corrupt as Los Angeles can be from what I've heard,
It's corrupt.
why would he adjudicate it that way? That was a mission. That was a war tactic. That was a mental impression that was used to create a certain confidence. There's something really suspicious about that whole thing. Now that I've been in a mix with these creatures, I do not believe that was real. I really don't.
Hey, Lisa.
I mean, and then think about Johnny Cochran. He was very charismatic. He was like a showman. He was poetic. He was rhyming. We love rhyme. It was theatrical. Was it all theatrics?
Lisa, I
OJ's
think it
music
was.
was peculiar. It didn't match his words. The words didn't match what we were. It was, the more you look at it, it looks weird.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, you have every right to question whatever is on the television set. I heard one individual that was special forces. He specialized in psychological warfare, and he actually has said this. He says that according to the FCC, anything broadcast from the television set, and I would have to say it's equivalent, is only for entertainment purposes only, which means anything broadcast from said device and its equivalent doesn't have to be true or real. In other words, anyone broadcasting from it, any profession, I don't care if it's a cop, judge, politician, lawyer, doctor, scientist, they don't have to tell the truth. So, you take caution when you're listening to anything from the television set or any mass media outlet whatsoever. So, yeah, you have every right to question it. It's all theatrics. It truly is. Even the courtrooms, they're really theatrics too, because everything's arranged and set up, and the jury's not allowed to see certain things if you have a jury. It's all theater, acting, actors.
So wouldn't that be equivalent to speaking in tongues, hiding the inner evidence? Like she was saying earlier in the O.J. Simpson case, how come the murder scene wasn't made available? I mean, that's all you show on TV is killing, and in your movies, you show people getting knocked off in the heinous ways, but we couldn't see that. Why? Because you would have got it. You would have understand that this dude. I mean, 'cause we don't question anything anyway.
Right.
Whatever the TV says, yes, boss. Whatever the TV says,
Mm-hmm.
and the lies have become so blatant. I mean, we with the lies before our own thoughts. Because my question, and I asked the cop this, and he couldn't say nothing. So, because I saw, because you can go, it's not like dark, but you can go find the pictures of her. And when you see the scene, it's a mess. You had to walk through all that blood. My question to the cop was, if that cat did that, wouldn't it be blood all in the Bronco, on the pedals, the gas pedals, the brake pedals, all on the carpet down there?
The
Wouldn't
trail
it?
from him walking from the damn house and everything.
Right. And that wasn't even brought up. So since it wasn't brought up, I'm not saying everybody, because I'm sure there are some brilliant people out there knew that was bullshit from the jump. But damn, is that speaking in tongues? That's the actions of speaking in tongues.
Also, the OJ, his weird behavior. He acted kind of disconnected and incongruent with what was happening to him, right? I attributed it to his arrogance. But it wasn't, I don't think it was arrogance. I think it was because it was an act. And I think that this was also to racialize the country because the anger against the Negro wasn't at a peak anymore. You know what I mean? And they wanted to rev it back up, right? And I think this was also I think this was a war. I think this was a weaponization. I think this was a military action against our people. That OJ case, even in my case, the damn judge brings up OJ in my case. That case was a judicial war tactic. And it was an action against us, because what it did was it was a major racial divide. People with jobs were freaking out. People, people, Caucasian people were feeling just angry, so angry, and we were feeling good for the first time, because then we had belief in the judicial system, which is a very dangerous thing for us to have. Because like I said, my experience in the past year has made me think that OJ thing couldn't be real. It can't be. There is no way that thing was real. Because there's no way that judge would have made that decision. It doesn't add up. And that's the thing. That's how you know a lie. That's how you know they're speaking in tongues. Because it's incongruent. It doesn't match with everything else. It doesn't line up.
Another thing I wanted to make, and I've heard someone say this, I don't know the exact source, but it has been said that the order of precedence that every bar member has is the state is first, the court is second, and the client is actually last. That's how it's set up. So you could see why.
Really, it's not even that. It's the state. It's not even the state. The state is not even first. The corporate interests that own these courts is first. It's corporate. Then it might be the state, because they really don't care about the state. And it's corporate. Corporate runs this country. Period. Whether it's healthcare, the law, the police,
Government.
military, everything. They run the government. The government is not the government, it's corporate. Corporate runs it. Because everybody's getting elected and everybody's chains are being pulled by corporate. Everybody's getting no payola. Payola. They're not being voted in, they're being brought in. They're paying to play. And people are paying them and putting them in office. And these powerful corporations are just placing people in place. None of these people none of them are, these votes don't do nothing, especially now. They don't care about you. They care about the corporations because they get that money. So I was told that the court clerk of DeKalb, she makes like $500,000 a year. I said, that ain't nothing. She's getting triple that, at least, because of these corporate kickbacks. The thing that keeps her looking the other way, the things that keeps her letting these corporations run the courthouse, all these fraud deeds they're putting in there. She's getting triple that. Easy. Maybe more.
So you think that, because that's one of the things I noticed, that the whole money thing, it seems like, well, it doesn't seem like it is. People with all the money do all the demonic shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the more money we get, we follow right behind them.
We're going to do whatever we got to do to keep that money gravy train coming our way. We're gonna do whatever we gotta do because then you're addicted to it. Then you need, and it's on various levels. It's even like I said, like these little like with people being caught up in being starting little indigenous groups. They do it because if you form the daggone, you form your little what is it your little 5031c. You get your little organization together. You get a little grant money. But then it becomes, you get like addicted. It becomes part of your budget, your life budget. Then you like need that little grant money. Are you going to start like saying, you know what? I'm going to fight for my land. No, you're not. Because now you're comfortable. Not only are you comfortable, but you're dependent. So you don't want to risk that little bonus you're getting to do something to change the daggone trajectory of your people for generations and generations. You don't want it because you're getting compensated now, and that's all you care about. Even on small levels, we get that kind of compromise, like people that are in the judiciary, people that are in the court, people in the government are getting these daggone funds on a big level. Even on a small level, we get corrupted. And what does it do? It makes nothing change. Nothing's going to change because we all are getting compromised and bought out and sold out.
So to me, it reminds me of everybody, that gets into that. Because I mean, we're still highly impressed by suits. We're still highly impressed by what kind of car somebody drives. You would think by now we'd be over that.
But it's programmed into us, right? Isn't that what we see? Oh, you're gonna be so sexy if you're driving this Lamborghini or whatever.
But
If you're driving, a little a hoopty. I don't think people use that term anymore. I guess I don't know, but anyway, if you're driving your little bummy car, or you're driving your little economical car, that's not sexy. You're not winning. Meanwhile, if you know what you know, a lot of these very, 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 very wealthy people drive old cars. Like they don't get new cars every time. I used to take care of the guy who had the largest Chevrolet dealership in the country. And all his family, they all had old trucks and old cars, and they rode them till the wheels fell off. Yet they're selling all these daggone Corvettes and stuff. Buying these cars are for the suckers. That's how they make their money. They're not gonna fall. It's like a drug dealer. You're not gonna use up all your drugs. You're not gonna be the sucker. You're not gonna be the one using them. If people are addicted to Corvettes, they ain't driving no damn Corvettes. They're selling them to the suckers.
Because I always wonder, when you always hear about people, you've heard the term selling your soul before. And so it's just that simple. You're swiping out your soul for a Corvette. That's what your soul is equal to, a Corvette. That's what your soul is equivalent to, a house. So when you say we don't really think highly of ourselves, that's what I get from that.
We don't. It's sad. But that's the propaganda that they fed us, right? Oh, the movie. Remember you watched today and you put that quote?
Yes.
Go back to that because that's fire. And it does tell you a lot about how we change the way we look at ourselves.
I forgot what I do with it.
Text it to me. You text it to me.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Give us a synopsis of the movie.
Well, so I was telling him about the movie Conrack, right? Conrack. And it's a 70s movie, 1970s, sometime 1970s. And it's got John Voight is the star of it, and he happens to be the father of Angelina Jolie. So what it's about the Yamakra Indians. But they're just Negroes in this film, and they live on the Yamakra Island. But if you know anything about Yamakra, that's an Indian name, and that's the name of an Indian nation. But people, they got Yamakra. I didn't realize they have Yamakra projects. So when I saw young brothers saying Yamakra, we Yamakra, but they were talking about the projects that they live in. I didn't realize they have projects that they call Yamakra projects, and that's why they big up in Yamakra. And they probably aren't relating it, or maybe they are now because of the indigenous information growing so much. They probably aren't. They weren't at the time probably relating it to the fact that y'all really the Yamakra Indians. Yamakra Indians that dealt with the governor to try to come in and govern Georgia. That's what y'all are. Well, anyway, so this movie is about in the 70s. They live in a remote island with the Yamakra, and they got their school teacher who's a Negro Indian school teacher, and she's real strict, Madge Sinclair, right? And they make her seem like she's just evil to the children. Like she comes off looking like she's just straight up abusive and not teaching them a doggone thing. That's the way they depict our school teacher. The school teacher is depicted. And then on the white horse comes this young, motivated teacher, and his name is Conrack. And he takes on a teaching job over there, and she's like, "What are you going to do, Conrack?" And she just like real, and he gives him a hard time, and that's the way they portray her, right? And they portray her being like, corporal punishment, beating the kids and all this kind of stuff. Kids don't know nothing because of her. And then he comes there and he enlightens everybody. And all of a sudden they doing stuff they ain't never done before and all this, saving the day. But see, these kind of stories, that's what they use, right? That's what they use heavily in Africa and all over the place, where it's the white savior that makes your life better. But we all got to understand that we were so highly educated. That's why we were excelling. That's why we had these advanced mathematicians in the country in the 1700s. But yet we weren't being educated. We were ignorant, right? We were all chattel slaves. But you got these mathematicians, brilliant, building. Come on now. So anyway, Conrack goes in there, and the teacher makes a statement about what she is. Did you find it? Did I texted to you?
I found it.
Good. Let's go.
I was a Negro, but now I'm black. Madge Sinclair. Now, so this is what I'm saying. When you're doing your genealogy, when you're doing your homework, when you're looking this stuff up, put stuff into perspective. So, like Lisa said, this movie was like in the early 70s. That's when they were, the 60s going into the 70s. That's when they were transitioning out of the term Negro into black.
Mm-hmm.
So it fit that motif fit the movie. What she was saying in the movie, I was Negro and now I'm black.
Mm-hmm.
Very important for us to pick up on things like that, because you can see how they move stuff. You can see how they speak in tongues and how they get you to speak in tongues, because you want to be in their movies. You want to get a record deal. You want a job. you will say anything they tell you to say,
Mm.
right? And it reminds me of that sister who works for Coca-Cola.
Mhm.
Remember when she said they were going, okay, she said she was working for Coca-Cola, and this is in Atlanta. They had a meeting telling them, we're not going to use the term black no more. We're going to African American. And everybody looked puzzled and bewildered.
Right.
And she was sitting in a meeting with two white women. And one of the white women was tripping off of, well, why are they doing that? The other one told her, don't worry about it. They don't know who they are. They'll call themselves whatever we tell them to call themselves.
Oh yeah, you shared that with me. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. This is, I mean, this is the speaking in tongues, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They'll tell you you're a pigeon, but you're a lion.
Mm-hmm.
And if you call yourself pigeon, don't get pissed off because you getting treated like a pigeon because you calling yourself that. You're calling yourself black. You're not black. I did this with a 3-year-old. His parents was teaching him he's black. I mean, they're pissed off at me. They're pissed off at me, of course. And I asked them, what colors was his shoes? I'm no smart kid. He said black. I pointed to his arm. What color is that? And he stopped. Uh, I said, what color is those shoes? He said black. Confidently, funny, was laughing, giggling and stuff. I said, well, what color is that? And he was like, and so I just put a penny on his arm and he said, brown. I said, okay, but it's not black. And he got it. Brother, there are Negroes today who are 60 years old who don't even understand that. 60 and don't understand that. So a lot of times we say, oh, they doing this to us. Nah, 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 nah. We do it to ourselves. And so, like Lisa was saying about this, this legal stuff going on, you better stick together, guys, because that's the only thing that's going to save you. They do, everybody else do. You don't see that? You think everybody's locking arms against you, and you think you can just walk around willy-nilly doing whatever you want to do. You think you can just walk around willy-nilly doing whatever you want to do to be in this position. That's the actions of speaking in tongues. Confusion. Ladies, you want to say something about that, Conrad? So, uh, the movie Conrad, um, I mean, you can learn a lot from it. The places where these people are from, where a lot of your ancestors are from, and I'm sure a lot of you guys listening ancestors are from that place. Beautiful place. It's like a guy was telling me, or you know, you got this beautiful place here in America. And this is just not on the East Coast, because what the island those people lived on, if you look at it, total beautiful. Beautiful. I can imagine what it looks like now. You are bequeathed all of this and give it away. We'll kill everybody on the island just to sell some rocks. That's not speaking in tongues. That's acting in tongues. You're being used to destroy each other so other people can come profit off your land. Is that right or wrong? You back, Lise?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, yeah, that's this is the thing. I'm always saying, and this is really wrong that I say this. I say that they have to keep stealing. In order to take our land, they have to keep re-upping the theft. Like they're fighting me tooth and nail to keep this stolen land. But this is the thing. We also actively deny our rights. We have to actively deny our rights to everything for them to keep what they have. How about that? How about the fact that by us not asserting our true identity in the right way, by us not saying, heck no, this is ours, that we actually actively give up our land and give up our rights every day. Every day we consent to them stealing it because we say nothing against it and we do nothing against it. Conrack was redone. They redid the movie. Like I think in like the 2000s. Why? Why did they re-up these movies? Because they want to influence a new generation. They want to let you know that these people, like, oh man, if it wasn't for these for us coming and helping you guys, y'all was really living bad. Y'all didn't have nothing. Y'all was raggedy. Y'all were undereducated. They want to impress your mind with your own. Oh, thank God we got it better today. Thank God them folks came along and made it better for us. That's what they want to influence. A new generation. They have to re-up that information, re-upload it into a new generation so you will have this self-loathing and this great appreciation for the saviors. That's what is being done. Who was in that movie? I think it was
Huggy Bear.
in the new version. Was he the new version just came out and something about okay, anyway, let me play it for y'all. This is just a trailer. Let me get to it. Here we go.
Y'all take a real long look at me. That shouldn't be any hardship, because I'm handsome. Moreover, I have a penetrating wit, a fanciful imagination, and my eyes are almost as blue as Paul Newman's. I am your teacher.
They call him Conrack. His story is true. When he came to Yamacraw Island in 1969, he was just a teacher.
2 children don't know how old they are. 5 children don't know their birth dates. 4 children can't count to 10. The 4 oldest in the class think the Civil War was fought between the Germans and the Japanese.
When he left a year later, he was much, much more.
Something's happening on this island, Mrs. Skeffington. And compared to that, you're nothing and neither am I.
20th Century Fox presents John Voight in Conrack.
Look, and now everybody, spit. Try not to spit on the teacher. Gravity, a law first stated by Isaac Newton and elaborated on by Johannes Kepler. Isaac Newton? Isaac Newton. Johannes Kepler. Johannes Kepler. Gravity. Gravity. Isaac Gravity. Isaac Gravity. Even if you crotch itches, don't scratch. Nobody moves till the ball is snapped. Boss, those kids are going to spend Halloween the way the rest of the kids in America spend it. And if you want to raise hell about it, then raise it. All right, go ahead. Throw your books in the river. Go back to counting on your fingers. Have 14 kids in a row look 60 when you're 30. Let your brain rot in your skull.
Why do you always pick on me?
Because the gospel according to Conrack is I will. Higher, stronger, faster, better. Not a floor scrubber, but Wanda Landowska. Not a diaper changer, but Marian Anderson. Not a pig sluffer, but Mary McLeod Bethune. Out Kaiser, out Nullus, that's Latin. Either a Caesar or nobody. What's the longest stinking river in the whole wide world? What continent is it on? Who comes from Africa? I came from Africa. the largest planet in the universe? Second largest? Who's the first president? The second president was Pat Conroy. Who crazy?
John Voight in Conrack.
Oh,
What country do we live in, gang? What state do we live in? You sure? Up, up.
so they called it. So he told them they were from Africa. See, he was teaching everybody they're from Africa.
I'm with finding my way. They got a part in there where he's showing them how to brush their teeth.
Right. As if we ain't clean.
Right.
We're not clean people. They're the clean people. They're the ones with all the hygienic background.
Right.
And they didn't even wash their daggone bodies until they daggone learn everything from us. See, that's the thing. I mean, they inserted these things, but then the new version, Alfred Wooder is in it. She plays the teacher, the school teacher.
She's always playing the coon though.
Exactly.
She's always playing the coon.
But they reintroduced that.
Right.
Why? To reintroduce that these people on this beautiful waterfront were from Africa and they were in bad shape and they're the descendants of slaves that were ignorant and needed the help of the good teacher Conrad.
Yeah, and there got to be at least 1,000 movies like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Remember they had those hood ones where they come in the hood to get the Negroes.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. That's it. Yeah. Hey, Pony Locks, where you been?
Yeah.
Yep, but that's part of it. That's what happens. So that's the thing. They want to make you think certain things, and they want to speak like they speak these things into existence. Where are you from? Now you know that these children don't need. Why they need a outside teacher to tell them where they're from? Their parents didn't tell them they from there. But then this shows you, for everybody that wants to say, oh, Gullah Geechee, that's from Africa. You see how it happened? That's supposed to be 1969. They're telling a story. It's supposed to be based on a true story that I believe. But anyway, and the name of it is The Water is Wide, the name of the book that is based upon. And then the other movie that they redid, Conrack, is called The Water is Wide with Alfred Woodard.
2006.
Yep.
So that's a whole 30 years later.
Yes.
So like say generations. So they put these. So there's a lot of movies. A lot of you who are under 30, under 40 may have never even heard of, but they are older movies. And like I'm saying, they just put these movies out to keep you in the same mindset 30 years ago. Like
redoing Roots and redoing The Color Purple, right? They gotta rebrand, rebring this out because every 30 years is like a reset. Every 30 years they got fresh people that don't even have the information of the last one. And because we don't tend to talk about things that are important to each other, we talk about nonsense. Who got a new car? So-and-so doing anything? So-and-so messing with so-and-so. Like we're not dealing with the important stuff, not in our households. Not in our households. Right? And then the people that act like they're taking care of business and doing politics, it's just misinforming and misleading us. But we got to get our daggone government, our daggone judicial brains going in our households. And I don't mean theirs. I mean ours. We have to have our own sense of our own judiciary. We have to be informed on all the things that defend and protect us in our households. There's got to be somebody that's got it on point. We got to get it together. And here ain't nothing but sandwich. Yeah. Oh, I know. I read the book and everything. That was in my Lord Child.
What was that?
In all the movies. I to this day, I can't stand seeing a brother run on the street. It makes me. And I would tell you, Pony Lux, I get nervous when I see young men running. I really do. It makes me stressed out from that daggone movie.
I've never seen that one. What's that about?
So you gotta watch it. I'll give you the link on that one too. Cause yeah, you gotta watch it. It's the inner city, one of them tragic, whatever tragic Negro movies, y'all
Cornbread Earl and Me.
Cornbread Earl and Me, yes, like that.
I don't want to see it.
I think Cornbread Earl is Me is the one that got me stressed out about brothers running. Every time I see one running on the street, I think of that day. That's the movie that I get stressed out about. Also, I mean, shoot, Cochise and Cooley High, even though Cooley High was pretty awesome, it was still just tragic Negro stuff because the music was fly. I don't even know how he was able to get off the Motown back that stuff because he used fly music in that movie. I don't know how they were able to get that done with the money thing. I don't know what was happening with that. But I mean, the money was fly. You had all the Motown tracks, and the script was beautiful, and the acting was meticulous. I think things went downhill from that. But but yeah, I mean, that was a good work. It's still, a sad tale. A sad Negro tale. Cooley High is a sad Negro tale, but it still was very well done. I mean, y'all think about it. Think about how we are being programmed. Think about all this stuff. And
We got to rise above that, y'all.
we really have to rise above it. We got to have our spokespeople in each family to at least help people keep their heads in the right direction and rise above some of this stuff because, man, they doing a job on us on a regular basis. Meanwhile, they're getting boosted up mentally, all the things. Oh, you're doing great. Oh, I'm pretty. My summer of being pretty. And meanwhile, the girl looked like crap. My summer, I turned pretty. You're not pretty. Living on the beachfront with your people on your people's land. And whatever. What is it? Metabank? No, some ever. I think it was in New York or one of them Indian towns in New York on the beachfront. And we don't even think about that. Start thinking about, if you thought about that, maybe you want to do something. If you start talking about it, maybe you feel some kind of way about it. Maybe if you don't feel some kind of way to do anything about it, maybe the next generation, if you discuss it, you could talk about it. Next time you go to where did I go to on the beach in Alabama? I went to, what was that place called?
Orange Beach.
I went to Orange Beach. That's nice. But then there's the other one by the island, or it's on the island. I forget what the name of it. Anyway, Alabama has beautiful beaches. They have beautiful beaches and they're not crowded. But you know who was on them beaches. Y'all, you know what, y'all? Do something. Do something I did the other day. I just started putting in stuff like, how did they clear the Negro people away from Virginia Beach? How did they clear the Negroes off of Orlando? How did they clear the Negroes away from Miami? And then watch AI tell you what the hell happened, and you'll be like, "Oh my God!" It'll trip you out. Just Orange Beach. I bet you put in the daggone. I bet you right now I put in there how did they clear the Negroes away from Orange Beach? It's going because Orange Beach is still, honey. You go around there to the restaurants, you can feel the tension. And you know why? Because them slaves are still over there. Them Slavs, they still live over there and they still remember when they was working for us. And they angry. See, before when I didn't realize that they was working for us, I couldn't understand their anger. Because see, if you made money off of me, why are you mad at me? If I enriched your life, why would you hate me? If you did me wrong and I enriched your life and for generations to come, why would you hate me? You hate me because we have more than you and you used to work for us. And that's why they have this insecurity and this hate, because what we're told is not what really happened. So when
they're sticking to the script.
Right. So when you go to Orange Beach, you go. I mean, I ain't never. When we went to Orange Beach, we went to have breakfast. That was, first of all, the nastiest ass breakfast I ever had in my life. But also the cold breeze of the stairs and the daggone weirdness was just, it was palpable. It was crazy. But see, they are their ancestors. So their fathers, grandfathers were the people that persecuted us and took over that land. They know it's only been a short time that they've been on Orange Beach. And when they see us come back around, how do they feel? They feel insecure because they're very insecure anyway. And they ought to be insecure because they're wrong. And they ought to be insecure because they stole all of it. But then what about us? What about us? So if you're an Indian and you're organizing yourself as a copper-colored Indian, and you're from them damn beaches of Orange Beach, and that's where your people come from. But you're not even researching your genealogy. Because why? Because why bother? I'm a copper. I know I'm an Indian and I'm copper-colored. Somebody is derailing you to a shortcut. There is no shortcutting your inheritance. They worked hard. They established that for you. You don't take shortcuts away from your inheritance. You don't do that. Anyway, so Orange Beach, gorgeous, racist, these people are on your land. If you Google, if you start looking into it, that's what it is. So they tell us these tales. And what did Carrie say? They speak in lies. They lie. They tell you, oh, they always been here. They tell you they saved us. They tell you we were the slaves. They tell you, they don't even tell you that you were. Ain't no slaves occupying every waterfront in the country. Come on. So we went straight from the boats to the waterfronts everywhere and just plopped there and built houses. Are you kidding me? They don't want you to know that these coasts, these waterfronts, these lakefronts, these riverfronts, these stream fronts, you live there. And when you actually go there and you acknowledge and put your feet into the sand or the soil where your people are from, you reactivate the earth and you reactivate yourself. But a lot of people sit up there and they play around. They're like, well, like I got cousins that do that. Can I claim my stuff in Tennessee? No, we're not from Tennessee, honey. We're not from Tennessee. And we do have a lot of territory in other states via patents, but Tennessee ain't one of them. We have to understand that there is a connection that has to be made. We have to reconnect with the land because the land is in us and we are the soil. So that's part of it. That's part of the process. The words that they speak are meant to deter you. They're meant to delay you. They're meant to discourage you. And they're meant to tell you, where are you from? What did he do? It wasn't enough that he said it. What do you have the kids do?
Sing it. Africa, running, jogging, putting it into them, making sure they'll never forget it. This is how they're teaching. So another part about that. So he's dropping the apples from the tree, but he's teaching them all this European stuff that's not going to help them at all. Showing this is how you teach these monkeys. That's what all these films do. The ones we were talking about, the Gangster's Paradise, Coolio stuff, all these movies are used to train you to be where you are today. New Jack City, all of them. They're not just speaking in tongues, they're acting in tongues, if that makes sense. Showing you this is how you act. Oh, another one of the movies, and everybody loves it, Lean on Me. You got to teach these kids they're just monkeys, and you got to teach them to be civilized. How many movies is it like that? A shitload of movies teaching you that you have no sense. Somebody got to come in here and teach you how to walk upright. That's what that Conrad, that's what all these movies are about. You just start setting fires for no reason in these movies. I mean, serious. That's how they are. You just, for no reason, you just blow up, and somebody got to come and put out the fire.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're taught in these movies and these films. And let's not talk about the music. If you even dare call it music, you will call something that no instruments are played in, none. Everything is computer oriented, and you have the gall to call it music and arrogant about it.
Well, boss tells you what to play, and that's what you play, right?
Yes, boss.
Boss tells you what to think, and that's what you think. And they tell you what to say, and that's what you say. You just repeat it back to them. I'm African. That needs to be replayed for all the Pan-Africans and Garvey people. That needs to be replayed, because that is exactly how it happened. It happened because the teacher was like, oh, I'm no longer Negro, I'm black. And then he's going around telling them that not only are you not Negro, you're black, but you're also an African. And that's how it began. Because these children are the children of what? They were in school in 1969. 1969.
Bad Saint says he didn't get the indoctrination starter kit. Bad Saint, how old are you? Because that's, a 15, 20-year-old, I can see where they probably don't get it. But if you're 30, if you watch these sitcoms, if you listen to this music, all this entertainment where it depicts you in the forefront, you got it. It may have been so slickly done that you don't even know you got it. Oh, but you got it. You got a TV, you got it.
How you know about Spike Lee but not seen no Spike Lee movie? I mean, I don't watch Tyler Perry, but I only know about him because I've watched at least one. How anybody get away with? He must not be old enough to when Roots came out, because he must not be that old. Because it took over the TV set, because the TV used to go off, and we all watched the same stuff because
Right.
there wasn't but two channels. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it really wasn't a choice, And what they would do stuff like preemptive. Oh, everything's been stopped. Your regular programming is not going to be on tonight. And they have this special that's brought to you by Prel Shampoo. Literally, that's what they did. And
Yep.
they would have a documentary about the state of the Negro pregnancy or something like that. And that would be the thing that was on TV that night. And you're seeing all these girls. I don't know how I'm doing my future. I don't know. Maybe I could get a job. But that's what they showed. Meanwhile, you got people doing all kinds of brilliant things, being daggone big time and big things. Things were happening, like amazing things during that time. Young people were doing amazing stuff. But that's what they showed on every channel in the territory, right? Across all the states, because everybody watched the same stuff.
It was only 3 networks.
There was only 3 networks. So it wasn't like, you didn't watch it. You know what I mean? Unless you didn't have a TV and didn't watch TV. So that's a whole different thing.
Finding My Way says, Uh, everything the Christians have taken from us have become unnatural: music, tobacco, money, food, water, weed. Finding my way is not that they've taken it from us. We've given it away. See, we better get out of that, or the kids gonna be doomed. Start telling them the truth. They didn't take nothing. We give it away. Because, and I'm gonna tell you how you figure, no, you give it away. Because if I came up to you, or somebody else that looked at me came up to you and did what these people did, you would kill them, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You would kill them. You give it away. You gave away the land. You gave away the trees.
Mm-hmm.
You gave away the weed. You gave away the tobacco. You gave away your coastline. Why? Because you wanted to be them, didn't you? Say the truth, then you will see it clearer. See, that clears up the talking in tongues. That clears up the confusion. Tell the truth. Stop when somebody say something, when somebody tell you, well, it's impossible for people to come over here from Africa on boats, urinating and defecating on each other during hurricane season. You asked the, you asked the Negro that, huh? How do you know that happened? You're speaking in tongues. You're playing stupid. You acting like somebody who's telling you the truth is lying to you. And then you go teach that bullshit to the kids. And then if they're astute enough, and most kids are, and ask you a question on it, you will whoop their ass. You will put them out your house.
Right.
Because kids aren't stupid. They're indoctrinated. And what's the first school you send them to? Sunday school. Where do they talk in tongues more than there? Courthouse?
Courthouse. Courthouse. Schoolhouse, courthouse.
Right. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really want to give yourself a cold treat that would jump your intelligence ratio by at least 100%, do some studying on Thurgood Marshall.
No,
So
yes, go ahead.
You know who Thurgood Marshall is.
Yep.
Do some, and listen, don't just do the research on Thurgood Marshall. Find out who his parents were, who his grandparents were. It'll tell you everything you need to know. And then apply that same logic to you. It'll show you where you are and where you need to go. These?
Yeah. Oh, but the Cherokee freedmen don't know who they are. They can't. You cannot. This is the thing. You cannot fight if you don't even know what a freeman is. You cannot. You gotta. That's the problem with people, because they let their enemies direct them and what they're doing. So if you let the Cherokee tell you what a freeman is, and you believe that scenario, then you can't. You're not fighting. You're a joke. You're a joke. Because the thing is, if you believe that a freeman was going along with some Native Americans on the Trail of Tears, and they were the real Cherokee, and you was a slave of the Cherokee that was a free baby. No, a freeman is just the opposite of a slave. How are you going to call yourself a freeman and you a slave of a Cherokee? Baby, the slave was the damn Native. If they were on it, because they weren't with us, they weren't over here. So it's like what they don't understand is that they were wealthy Indians who were free and had land, And that's why their ass had to go across the damn Oklahoma. But they don't understand that. So they're not thinking right. And guess what else? They're in the matrix because they're begging these people to acknowledge them that don't have the right and authority to acknowledge you. See, they're begging for something they shouldn't be begging for. And what the Freemen should be doing is, first of all, finding out if they really was called Cherokee, because that's part of the matrix. That's part of the United States. Because you don't hear about Cherokee per se that much in the 1600s. Where were they? So basically, they got to understand who they really are. And they need to start fighting for their actual identities, not using the United States sanctioned identity and these United States created Native American tribes and fighting for a piece of that rock. You got your own rock. Be you. Fight for what you really got. Fight for what was stolen. Fight for the fact that you probably owned all of them damn mountains and thousands and millions of acres. I don't even know. And Georgia and Kentucky and all up in there. That's yours. And they forced you over there. You're the real folks that were affected by the Indian Removal Act. But because you think you're just some kind of ancillary people that was hiding among the Indians, you don't know. We have to fight the right fight. We have to be in the right identity. You have to be in the right status. Don't let them tell you what you are, and don't let them tell you what you have. You got to figure that out, and then you got to stand up for that. But you don't let your enemies tell you what you had or what you are. They're gonna speak in tongues. They're never gonna tell you the truth.
Ever.
So they going around in circles with these jokers. And that all the while they laughing under their breath. Freeman. I reached out to that. What's that daggone senator, that old rickety Negro, rickety damn African lady, whatever her name is, the Congresswoman. I reached out to her. I said, why are you representing? Because they were doing that congressional thing with the freedmen and stuff. And I said, why are you arguing with these Native Americans and letting these people argue against Native Americans when they aren't even clear of what a freedmen are? That has to be clarified and established clearly first. Yeah, of course she didn't respond to me. Maxine Waters, thank you very much, my dear. Yes, Maxine. I reached out to her on that. I sent her a daggone email or whatever kind of contact or whatever about that, because it's all bull crap. It's speaking in tongues. They got these people talking in circles about something that first you got to establish the status and standing and who you are. What is it? What be a freedman? Let's get that clear. Let's go into the daggone history. Let's dig into the documents. Let's clarify that. And these people, these Native Americans, have no history that dates back to even the establishment of that name, that identity. The Freedmen's Bureau. Where were they? Talking about they're the real. What the world? How do you get to say, you weirdo immigrants? If you don't understand the true history and you can't stand on it, you can't stand against them. But once you've got yourself in the right position where you are dealing with your ancestors, you're dealing with your bloodline true identity, they cannot. I mean, they're fighting me, but how long can they fight me? They can't fight me long, because the truth is all around me and they are speaking in tongues. Close my mic on that, y'all.
So Finding My Way says, could you recommend any historically accurate books on Thurgood Marshall? No. But this is what you do. And this is what you always do, because reading is becoming obsolete with our people. All the bookstores. I just came back from LA and they used to have a bookstore out there called Esselwan. They were pumping all that African stuff. I mean, and this was all over the country. They had these black bookstores. I know many of you remember them. They're virtually all gone now. Could you recommend a historically accurate book on Thurgood Marshall? No, but this is what you do. There's all kind of stuff written on Thurgood Marshall. You want to study his life, what he done to help get the present situation to where it is now. Because he still talked about, they still got the Thurgood Marshall United Negro College Fund. When you study this man's history and go back to his mama, grandmama, granddaddy, or study that. Check them out. Check out where they lived. Check out what they did. Who did they work for? How did he get to? You're going to find all that stuff out when you're looking up this dude. Somebody writing a book on him. It's like Lisa's talking about, dealing with these demons in these courts. They don't have no knowledge of that. They going by hearsay. It's what you say. Who is he? Who are his kids? You gonna get up. Do you know Thurgood Marshall's son is the CEO of the prison system in America? Do you know that? I don't know if he is now. It gives a whole new meaning to education to prison. This is what's happening to you while you're up talking about who won the Diddy trial. Know who these people are, because a lot of time we get up talking and don't know what the hell we talking about. And we're arrogant about it because it's something you heard. You have to do it yourself. It ain't long. Afternoon. We act like 15 minutes is 2 days. We don't want to listen to no information. We don't want to do no researching, especially on our families. You get to speaking, you'll start running into people who your granddaddy knew, who your grandmama birthed. But if we're speaking in tongues and acting in tongues, doing what other people say, we'll always be thrown off. Always. So the books, they're good sometime, but this is important. Since the book's been here, since we've been educated, how are things going? With all the books, how are things going for the American Indians? I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We're going to be on later on in the week. Got some more information. Lisa's going to be with us. We hope you guys will be too. We'll see you next time.
I'm going to say one more thing about the BIA. Until we get ourselves together to the point that we are having a 1,000,000 woman march or a 1,000,000 man march or a 1,000,000 American Indian march to the BIA and take that back, we ain't doing nothing. Ain't nothing happening. Okay. Don't nobody need to be thinking about nothing. Okay. Because that's where it should be. It should be that people need to get their families together. Well, you can't get see, this is the thing. Even if you can't get your family together, you can get your identity, your nationhood, your history together, your lineage together. Your family ain't gonna fall in line until they see the benefit. That's just gonna happen. But you're gonna meet people who are of your nation because you've already built it back. And when you build it back, then you've got something to stand on. then you can say, look, this is who I am, this is who I represent, and I represent it as an official of a real people with a real history and a real right and a real interest in this territory. But until we get that in order, what are we doing? And until then, when we're at the mindset where we're not thinking about, Mayans and freaking daggone dinosaurs and weird shit, and we're thinking about, you know what, that BIA, we need to go take it over. That needs to be taken back. We need to make a stand. We need to make statements. They need to see that we're serious about who we are. If the Cherokee are going somewhere and dealing with, if these daggone freedmen, somebody needs to take them by the collar and show up in mass numbers. When them old sisters lost the daggone to the Tulsa shit, people should have been there en masse. It should have been busloads of us showing up in mass. But everybody's just talking. When we get past this talking and we start doing, then maybe we can make a better world. That's all I gotta say.
So speaking in tongues equals lying. Don't speak in tongues.